Swear to me! Brr. What's up, all you Gothamites out there? Fat Samurai Guy here. Gonna talk about Gotham Season 2, Episode 2. So the episode opens up with the new commissioner, the evil commissioner, basically being at the mayor's house, okay? Kind of throwing his weight around, showing the mayor who's boss and who's in control, kind of torturing the mayor a little bit, forcing him to do his bidding. So remember, from the previous episode, 5 inmates were broken out of Arkham by the new commissioner. And the 5 inmates are Jerome Valeska, aka the Joker, Barbara, who killed her parents, Aaron Hellsinger, who killed his entire family, Arnold Dopkins, who's a schizophrenic and rapist, and Robert Greenwood, who killed and ate 12 women. All the inmates, excluding Barbara, end up going to Yellen Shipyard, and they kidnapped a few associates over there. And what they end up doing is they end up tying them up, spray painting letters on them, and then throwing them off the building, the Gotham Gazette building, to their deaths. And they fell perfectly, by the way, on the ground, to form the word maniacs with an X. So after this incident, Jim Gordon brings his team together and shows them who they're dealing with these inmates. Got a little awkward there when Barbara's picture came up. Everybody kind of was looking at each other because they all know that, Jim and Barbara used to be an item. But Jim had to lay the law down and let them know, the manhunt's got to begin. We got to catch these guys. Next, the commissioner meets with his team, his maniacs team. They're all sitting around eating donuts, acting crazy because they're insane. And he meets with them, and he's basically congratulating them on their deeds of creating chaos. But of course, the big show hasn't really started yet because he's got a lot of plans for them. He's got a lot of things for them to do, but he wants to remind them that, why don't you have a little bit more fun, show some charisma, because you want to grab that audience's attention, kind of have some charisma, a little bit of flair, So he kind of says, you say ladies and gentlemen, or you say ladies and gentlemen, and they're all terrible. So of course, the best one out of the group, obviously, Jerome, stands up on a chair and he says, ladies and gentlemen, of course, it's the Joker, okay? So obviously he's going to win on charisma points, okay? But what I kind of liked, though, was the commissioner was very impressed by Jerome, and he tells him, you know what? I kind of like what you got going there. That laugh thing, very infectious laugh. You should keep doing that. Keep laughing. I like that. That was pretty good. Next, Useless shows up. Barbara. That's what I call her, Useless. Can't stand the character. She shows up, and she goes, when is it my turn to be evil? Whatever the hell. And he goes to her, and he goes, tell me everything you know about Jim Gordon. And she goes, gladly. Now back at stately Wayne Manor, we have Alfred and Bruce Wayne, little Bruce. They're still inside that secret room of Thomas Wayne, Bruce's dad. And Bruce is really excited now because now he has access to all his father's computers and files. Wants to turn on the computer and check those files. He wants to see what exactly his father was really up to. What secrets does he hold? What secrets about Wayne Enterprises? Who's crooked working in there? So Bruce is very excited to turn that computer on and start searching. And then all of a sudden, Alfred looks around. He sees blood on the ground. He sees a bulletproof vest on the side here. He sees guns everywhere. And in the bulletproof vest, he sees 2 slugs in there. So who knows? Are they hinting that maybe Thomas Wayne was trying to start to be sort of a vigilante himself? We don't know. But he saw that, and he was just like, this is dangerous. I don't want little Bruce to be in any more danger than he already is. So Alfred picks up a stick and starts destroying and smashing the computer, and he ends up breaking it. And of course, little Bruce goes crazy. He's like livid about it. And he's so angry, he ends up firing Alfred, and I'm just rolling my eyes. I'm like, well, that's not going to last long. Oh, well, little Bruce Wayne, you're fired, Alfred, you're fired. Get out, Alfred. So I'm like, oh, God. So anyway, what was great about this scene, though, was, again, Sean Pertwee's performance. He's very good at being Alfred. You could see in his face that he's shocked, he's stunned that he's getting fired because he has so much love for Bruce and the family. And he, just watch him. It's the little things that Sean does. Just watch him. He kind of straightens his shirt, like, puts his hands behind his back, and he's just, you can tell he's sad and depressed, but at the same time, he's still professional. A military background, and you can hear a little crack in his voice, when he says, it has been an honor and a privilege to have served you and your family. It's great. This guy is one of the best Alfreds I've ever seen. So he ends up packing his bags and leaving. So now back at the Maniac's mansion, that's what I'm going to call it, Jerome and Robert have a little confrontation. This is one of the best scenes in the episode. Robert picks up a katana sword, and Jerome picks up a chainsaw, and they're getting ready to go at it. And the commissioner shows up, and he's like, hey, guys, come on, all right? We're supposed to be on the same team here. We need to settle this right now. So he ends up pulling out a pistol, and he goes, you know what this is? You know what kind of game we're about to play? And, of course, Jerome's great. He's all Joker-ish. He's like, oh, it's one of my favorite games, all right? So they both play Russian roulette. And, of course, Jerome wins because, he ends up clicking the gun like 3 times, putting Robert to shame. And Robert's like, all right, this guy's crazier than I am, so I'll let him lead. One of my favorite lines, though, is Robert earlier. He started bragging about all the women he's killed and all that stuff. And he goes to Jerome, you've only killed your mother, That's all you've done. And Jerome goes, well, you gotta start somewhere. I was busting up over that. Then we have Jim going to visit Harvey in his bar. He's going to try to ask Harvey to come back to the precinct and suit up again and be a cop again. He doesn't even get the chance to do that because Harvey's fiance shows up and kind of butts in and like, hey, he's got a bar, he's got a career right here, I'm his fiance, I'm about to marry this guy, he's done being a cop, you can just turn around and walk right out that door, go, scooch, bye. And of course Jim's like, well damn, and he leaves. And as he was walking out, Harvey, just that cop is still inside of him, and he tells him, he goes, before you go, Jim, just thinking about the whole incident with these Maniacs characters. Why Yellen? Why Shipyard Yellen? Out of all the places they could have kidnapped people to make their statement, why Shipyard Yellen? You might want to look into that. And Jim goes, oh, okay, you got a point. So Jim looks into it and finds out that a stolen gasoline truck went missing, but it wasn't reported from Yellen Shipyard. So he puts on an APB on that stolen gasoline truck. He ends up telling his boss, Essen, about it. She's all excited. She's like, great job. She's surprised that, Harvey's not coming back to duty. But she's like, hey, still great job, Jim. And she gives this little speech, like she says, I'm here to stay. And we're going to change Gotham. Because why? Today's a new day. And right there, I was like, she's dead. She's going to die. I already knew. You make a big speech like that, I'm like, you're done. You're so dead. Anyway. So now we're back to Mr. Nigma. I like the actor that plays Edward Nigma, a.k.a. the Riddler. He's not the Riddler yet. But I don't really know his angle, where they're going with his angle right now. I don't really know what they're doing. I don't know if I like it yet. I don't mind the fact that he's turning crazy and he's going insane. I don't mind that. But you'd think, after what happened at the end of the first season, that it would have just been full circle now and he would have already been there and lost his mind and done what he always wanted to do, and that's be with this female associate that works in Gotham PD. And he's in love with her, he's obsessed with her, he's been in love and obsessed with her the whole entire first season, to the point where he ends up killing her boyfriend and just laughing about it and going crazy about it. So in my eyes, it's already done. Like, he's already crossed the line. So I don't know why now, he's looking in the mirror, and because he's insane now, I guess, and he's looking in the mirror and he sees his other self, his better self or alter ego. He's all suave, turning around, and, well, I know what to do with her if I got my hands on her. And he's like, shut up, man, you stay away from her, right? He's talking to himself in the mirror. So it's kind of like, I don't really know where they're going with this. Why at this point, he kills her boyfriend. Why at this point is he still nervous to talk to her and ask her out on a date? That should be way well and over by now. I mean, come on. So, I don't know what they're doing with that, but we'll see. So now the next scene is maniacs, led by Jerome. They end up kidnapping a school bus of cheerleaders. They take that gasoline truck with them, and they end up spraying gasoline everywhere. They're going to set it on fire. They're going to make another statement of chaos. And Jim and his team show up just in time to save the day. They have a little shootout back and forth. Maniacs escapes, except inmate Arnold Dopkins. He actually ends up getting apprehended. But Jim, drives the bus first out of the way, saves the day. Nobody gets hurt or dies or anything like that. But as Jim is escorting Arnold back to the car, he's like, "You're going to tell me everything you know. You're going to tell me who you work for, blah, 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 blah." And then right when Arnold's about to speak, he gets shot several times. The camera pans all the way over, and you see the commissioner's right-hand woman slash sniper slash assassin slash whatever she is. And she's up on that building, and they can't see her. They can't get to her in time, so she's free. But she ends up taking Arnold out, keep him quiet. After this, you see Alfred at the train station. And, of course, Bruce shows up. Like I said, it wasn't going to take long. And apologizes to him. And asks him to come back, and he was going to rehire him if Alfred trains him, shows him how to fight, shows him how to survive. He even kind of bribed Alfred. He's like, "Hey, man, I'll go back to school, too, But just come on back. Just teach me how to be a badass." And, of course, obviously Alfred agreed on one condition. That when he's training him, he does not question. He does exactly what Alfred says. The next scene's a pretty good scene with Alfred bumping in, wasn't an accident, into Lucius Fox, who's at a bar. And they have some pretty good banter back and forth. And then they recognize each other. And basically Alfred asks him, because, Lucius is really computer genius. He asks him, "Hey, we really need your help. You're the last person we can turn to. Can we trust you?" And Lucius is kind of like, "I don't know if I like these questions." But, he listens. And Alfred goes, "We need you to fix a certain computer, and we need to extract certain files to see what's on them, but you may not like what you find on there. Are you down?" And he said he was down. And it was a very good scene between both actors. And I like the fact that Alfred was like, "Well, I appreciate it. I know you loved and admired Thomas Wayne and the family. That's why I came to you. But if you in any way endanger Master Bruce somehow, I'm going to kill you." Sean, once again, being a badass. Alfred, the badass butler. Now we come to the best scene of the episode. At first, I kind of had a little bit of problem with this scene. Luckily, Jerome comes in and saves the day. So what happens is, Jim's sitting at his desk, and he gets a phone call. He picks up the phone, and you hear Barbara on the other line. And Barbara's messing with him, blah, 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 getting under his skin. And he's basically telling her, "Barbara, come in, turn yourself in. Maybe I can help you. Stop doing what you're doing." And then the next thing you know, he looks up, and he sees Barbara standing right there at the precinct entrance. Right there. Gotham PD entrance. Right there. Now, the problem I have with this whole scene is he gets up quietly and goes after her. Now, shouldn't he realistically go, "Stop her, stop her, everyone look, stop her, Barbara, capture her, stop her"? You'd think he would be yelling out, "She's right there, capture her, stop her." I don't know why he quietly got up and went after her. That's why I was just kind of like, I don't know about that, but whatever. He follows Barbara out. They're out of the precinct, they're out of the building. Jerome comes in disguised as a cop and goes to Essen's office and basically starts talking to her. She turns around. She finally realizes who it is talking to her, but by that time it's too late. They take over the building. Okay, the whole Maniacs team come in cop clothing, end up shooting, taking everybody out that's in that building. Luckily, Jim's girlfriend was in hiding, so she wasn't in any danger. The Riddler, aka Nigma's love interest, whatever, she's on the outside, so Nigma runs and saves her. He gets shot, and it's a flesh wound, but he saves her, so whatever. I really don't care about their relationship. But yeah, they take everybody out, man. Everybody gets screwed in this scene. Then it cuts to Jim on the outside coming up to Barbara. They have their little banter back and forth, and Barbara being annoying. And of course, obviously, it was a setup. And one of the inmates, the big guy, he comes out of nowhere and beats the crap out of Jim. Just beats the living hell out of Jim. He's out. He's not doing anything. And then Barbara comes over him and, you know, says her little piece and kisses him on the lips. She's got blood on her lips or whatever. And the more I watch her, the more I'm starting to believe a little bit of the rumor, or at least contemplate the rumor of that they're never going to get together, which I really hope. I mean, they can't. There's no way they're going to get together and have little Batgirl. Okay? It's just not going to happen at this point in the show. She's too far gone. She's a murderer. She's crazy. She's too far gone. But people are talking about the fact that maybe Gotham is creating their own mythos. Okay, Gotham's doing their own thing, telling their own story that doesn't necessarily follow or be in canon with the DC Comics or the Batman universe. And Barbara may eventually turn into Harley Quinn. And a lot of people are talking about that. And the more I look at her, I'm kind of like, you know what, maybe I could kind of see it. So I kind of hope that happens, because I hate the character so much. But if she's so crazy and so gone and she eventually evolves into Harley Quinn, I have no problem with that. So back inside, Essen is tied up, and Jerome comes over there, and they have a little playback back and forth. She ends up headbutting him, and he's like loving it. He's like, oh, more, please. But then he's had enough. He's like, okay, now it's time for you to die now. So it's a scene pulled straight out of The Dark Knight. So either you're going to love it or you're going to hate it. But I thought for television, I thought it was fine. Basically, the scene where Joker is filming his hostage and turns the camera around and films himself, and from The Dark Knight, Heath Ledger. They do a scene similar. And it's not bad. I thought it was very well done for television. I thought it was pretty good. Very similar. And it's not the same exact words, but it's a similar sequence where Joker's talking to the audience, letting them know that the Maniacs are just getting started, that they haven't seen anything yet. So then you start to hear the sirens around the building get louder. And that's the exit cue for Jerome and friends. And before Jerome leaves, he ends up shooting Robert, just for the hell of it. Bob Gunn. Kind of reminded me of that. He ends up shooting Robert and they escape. So then after the carnage ceases and things start to quiet down, you see Jim Gordon come back in, and he's over Essen's body, and she's dying, and she says that line. She goes, "Today's a new day." Like I said, I called it. She was going to die as soon as I heard that speech. So she ends up dying. And then after that, the next day, you see Jim watching that tape of Jerome on TV and studying it. And before you know it, a familiar voice is heard behind Jim, and Jim turns around, and Bullock's back. That's right, Harvey's back. And I was like, yay! I knew that wasn't going to last long. Harvey Bullock just being wasted, being in a damn bar. Come on. So, you know, he comes in there like, he was looking like he was about to be in a Western or something. He's just in there, and he's all like, "We are what we are, Jim. We are what we are," you know. So he's back, so that's cool. And that's it for the episode. Very good, very good. A lot better than the previous episode because, you know, it was the Cameron Monaghan show. The actor that plays Jerome, aka Joker, stole the show. It was his show, and that's why it was so entertaining, because the Joker's always entertaining. Now, here's the thing, though. Here's the thing, okay? I'm hearing people say, a lot of comments, a lot of articles going around, a lot of videos saying, is he the Joker? Is he not the Joker? If this guy does not end up being the damn Joker, fuck this show. Seriously, fuck this show. I will boycott this show if this character does not evolve into the Joker that we know. Okay? This is the biggest waste of time after doing that. And you never know. You never know. This Jerome character may end up running into the real Joker, and he ends up inspiring him, and then that person becomes the Joker. I really hope that we're not doing that, okay? I am going with the flow here, that the show is letting us believe that this character is a young Joker in the making, okay? So if I'm telling you, If he does not end up being the Joker, there you go. Alright, that's it. Fat Samurai Guy out. Let me know what you thought of this episode and what you thought of Jerome's performance. If you enjoyed this video, hit that like, share, and subscribe button. And I'll see you guys next week for the next episode. Peace out.